funds. How many of us have them? Funds. The ones we can depend on. Get those funds. Welcome to the Balance Your Books podcast. I'm Kimberly.
I'm Kina.
And I'm April.
And we're your balance partners.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Welcome. We are so excited, so happy to start this podcast, Balance Your Books, for small business owners. And to tell you a little bit more about finance and why we decided to do this. So, Kimberly, why don't we share with the people who we are first?
Okay, so I am Kimberly. I am a proud graduate of North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. I have an accounting degree, and I've been working in accounting for over 30 years. Wow. Started my career in public accounting with my partners at KPMG.
Shout out to KPMG.
Shout out. Once I left, I ventured into the area of financial reporting and technical accounting research. So my specialty is GAAP. Compliance with GAAP, and building solid financial statements. I've worked for a few Fortune 500 companies. I went back 20 years after I graduated to get my MBA. I have quit my job a few times, and this last time is when I decided to join YBP. I am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I am a part-time instructor at Georgia State University.
Which is where you also got your graduate degree.
Yes, that's where I got my MBA at Georgia State
GSU.
University. So that is Kimberly in a nutshell.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, April, you want to share?
Oh, am I next?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm April. Pleased to meet you. I am excited about being part of this podcast, although I joined kicking and screaming.
Yes.
But let's see. I'm from born in New Orleans, raised in Arizona. Migrated across the country to attend Clark Atlanta University.
CAU.
Panthers. So, graduated with an accounting degree. Was fortunate enough to interview with Kimberly.
I brought her on board.
And then Kina.
Yes.
We had, what was that, lunch or dinner at Papa Do's?
Oh, you got a good memory.
Yes,
huh?
yes, because
I
the
don't
food, you
remember.
know, when you're in college, you're
and
hungry.
you get a good meal.
Those meals during interviewing
That was
is
the best.
like, yes, absolutely. So I worked for KPMG for a couple of years. And actually, while I was there, I don't want to get too long-winded, but while I was there, I started to hate my job. And so I quit.
Can I just add that
Like 3 years in.
she was hating her job while she was working on a job with me?
Oh, yes, because Kimberly, had she had the power, would have fired me.
You see how you can
If she
learn from
could
all
have.
mistakes?
Yes.
So anyways, I only mentioned that because when I did leave, I actually started working with a company called Singleton & Jordan and began to enjoy audit again. And fast forward several years, Singleton & Jordan is now PJC Group, where I am a managing partner. And I'm over the audit. I dibble and dabble a little bit in tax. But that's where I am now.
Shout out to Singleton & Jordan and PJC Group being Black-owned firms in Atlanta.
Yes, in business for 45 years.
Yes.
That's right.
And then I am married, and I have a wonderful husband and an awesome son
Our
Yes.
godson.
who is
Yes.
at SC State. So that's a little bit about me. And
Thank you, April. So I'll round it out. I think you guys will start to see a theme here. So I am originally from Kansas City, Missouri, and I went to Florida A&M University, FAMU, the highest of 7 hills, in SBI. Graduated from there. Had an awesome time, of course, then came to Atlanta, KPMG. Of course, this is the connection point for all of us. And I stayed I stayed in Atlanta since. So I always say I was raised in Kansas City and grew up in Atlanta because I've been here since my 20s, and I'll let you all do the math. So I worked for a couple of companies, and then in 2021 left Coca-Cola Company and started this firm with my girls. So we started Your Balance Partners in 2023. www.yourbalancepartners.com. And we really decided we saw small businesses struggling financially. Mm-hmm. And at some point in your career, you say, well, do I want to use all this knowledge and skills I have for good or for evil? Right. And so I think we decided we wanted to use it for good. I called April when I was like, am I going to leave? I'm going to leave the comfort of corporate America and go out on my own. April had been out on her own for a long time. And I said, April, I can't be poor.
None of us can.
So I was like, I can't handle being poor. So I was like, will I be able to eat? And April was the one who, that's exactly what she said. Absolutely. She was like, Kina, the clients will come.
Yes.
So hung my shingle, and and she was right. It was literally through connections, by treating people well over the years. Mm-hmm. So we started YBP together. So April has two hats. So she is PJC and YBP. Yeah. And then, was it a year later?
It was probably a year later. I came along because I am no stranger to quitting a job.
Yeah. Yes.
I have gone through it multiple times when I felt like April said, not so much that I hate my job, but it just wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And so the last and final time was when, honestly, I realized that my job was interfering with what was important to me. And these two young ladies are important to that decision because being in financial reporting, SEC reporting, we're calendar based and everything is on the quarter. Yeah. And when Kina was celebrating a milestone birthday and I thought I couldn't go, got to the last minute, I said, F that job, I went. And nothing fell apart. I went. And while we were on the trip, April was talking about celebrating her milestone birthday the following year. And I said, I don't know if I'll be able to go because of quarterly reporting. Both of their birthdays fell on that time frame. And then we were walking in that beautiful area in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when I said, you know what? I'm going, April. By this time by your birthday, I will have quit my job. Okay. And by that time, I hadn't left, but I had given my notice, and I was done, and I joined my girls to help small businesses be successful.
Yeah. Kimberly quit her job to go to Miami. We had a hell of a time, though.
Yes, we had the pictures.
That's for you, kiddos. Quit your job and go to Miami.
Do not.
And hang out for the weekend.
Do not do that.
No, but we're gonna give out much more sound advice than that through this podcast that we really hope will help small businesses. And you may ask, why did we call it Balance Your Books? One, because we're accountants and we're proud accountant nerds. And so to the accountants out there, you all know what that means. Yes. But what I did was look up the definition of balance.
And what does it say, Libra?
Yeah. So, yes, right. And I'm a Libra. Balance the scales. Yeah, no wonder it connected with me. So, and it said, keep or put something in a steady position so that it does not fall.
Okay.
And that's when I read that definition, I said, that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Because in our day-to-day work, we're only able to work with a limited number of clients. But through this podcast, we recognize that we can get it out, all of this information out to a broader small business community. Yes. And a lot of the, no disrespect to other podcasts out there, but they talk about things from a different angle as opposed to really about the accounting, the accounting and the finance and the controls part of the business that you want to make sure you have. So hopefully we're able to give you that information.
And if you haven't noticed, I did say I've been an accountant for over 30 years. So we are Gen X. So a lot of what we do has that feel. We got a little bit old school hip hop, 80s music, some references like that. So we want to make it personable. We want to make it relatable with a little bit of old school flair to it.
So young people, look up, Google some of what we say, because you may not understand on the initial take. I don't know if we mentioned that we're all CPAs. I know you said you're a CPA, but I don't think April and I did. But
Yes.
yeah.
We're
So
all CPAs.
we are all
Certified
CPAs.
public accountants.
Yes.
we're
Not
gonna-
tax accountants.
And we're going to talk about that, right? What's the difference? Because everybody who's outside of the accounting community doesn't really understand necessarily the difference between all different accounts. So we'll talk about that too.
Yes.
So this is a each one teach one, and we also there's another. What's another? Okay, Kimberly and I like to do it, but April, what's the other thing we like to do that you don't?
That would be karaoke. And what I'll say about that is when Kimberly was just talking a few minutes ago and talking about the hip hop, R&B, all of that, it was very music based.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gen X is not only music.
Okay.
It's more than that.
Yes, ma'am.
But because the two of you love music so much,
Yes.
that's why you made those references. So they will most likely be singing from time to time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I did have to endure music while I was your staff person at a particular organization.
One of our
And
clients
it
back
drove
in the
me
day.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Back when there were CDs.
Yes.
So
But
go
I
ahead.
will say this.
Yes.
I think music brings joy.
It does.
It does.
So while we're educating the world, we'll also be bringing them a little joy with a tune here and there.
Right. We want to make this interesting. And I think that we probably all have a little bit of adult ADHD as well, because we're Gen X, so nobody diagnosed us. So we didn't have the right words.
Right, yes.
In the 70s and 80s, they didn't have the right words.
No.
So we're going to do this quick. Our podcast, we're going to try to keep them around 30 minutes. Give you about 3 points and some examples from what we've experienced. And then we're going to, we're going to have a segment called Shoot the So where we're just going to have a random topic that we end the podcast with just to have fun, So that accountants, we can have fun too.
And
yes,
we do.
Can.
Because I quit my job to go to Miami.
Right. That's what you're getting from our introductory podcast. Quit your job and go to Miami. So that's about us. Anything else, ladies?
Nope. We're
I
going to
think
keep
you
you
covered it
balanced.
all.
All right. We're going to keep you balanced. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy our podcast. And more importantly, we hope you learn something and your business grows, because that's our mission.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good day.